Alright, guys, let us go through the background for the Hunger Artist. And I'm going to pull up this Brezzy so that we can kind of work our way through it. It's coming. Some things that you want to keep in mind as we're going through this background presentation are we're going to be talking about some of the philosophical overtones that play into the Hunger Artist and kind of the themes within it. So, we're going to start with some background information. My computer's going to move real slow. The Hunger Artist. So the first thing we need to be aware of is kind of the timeline. This is after World War I. World War I was from 1914 to 1919, and it was thought to be the war to end all wars. No one had really seen the things that happened during World War I, namely the magnitude of the killing. This killed millions of people. There were more machines involved in the daily battle, and so more people could be killed, and it was very devastating and very disillusioning. People didn't really know what to think of humanity anymore because they had previously presumed that war was sort of a noble thing, and after World War One, the idea of war and being a soldier being noble was really very much challenged. So they weren't able to, this idea of disillusionment means you're not able to believe in the things that you once held hallowed. The idea of hallowed being holy, things that you could assume as being right. World War I really ruined that for people. They couldn't assume any longer that things that they once thought were holy really were holy. We move forward. So when you stop being able to trust the big things in life that you had once been able to trust, you can't all of a sudden trust smaller things. You can't trust smaller institutions. You can't trust that the government is going to really always have your back. You can't trust that being a soldier is really going to end in glory. Things are just really topsy-turvy. Disillusionment also starts to make people really wonder about the point of life. Like, what does it all mean? And they begin to feel really out of place and uncomfortable, and they can't feel at home the way they used to feel at home. When you were in your home country, the place where you were born, you would always feel like, hey, this is part of who I am. This is part of what makes me me. And after World War I, that idea was really challenged. So people can't feel at peace, they can't feel satisfied. This lack of satisfaction is a huge part of what plays into the art of starving. So, the art of starving. Being a hunger artist is not something that is new in the 1900s. In fact, many people have hungered publicly starting in the 1600s. It was most popular from the late 1800s into the mid-1920s, 1930s. Reasons for hungering or for fasting varied greatly, and we want to look at some of these examples. Some were medical. People wanted to prove what the human body could do, what the human body could go through, and really glorify humanity. Other people would fast for religious reasons. When we read the story, we'll see that hungering, the maximum length that people can hunger is for 40 days, and that comes back to a religious theme. So some people hungered because they wanted to show a reliance on God. I'm only getting through this fasting because God's helping me get through it. God is what's keeping me full, not food. I don't need food to endure, I only need my faith. And this comes back to the idea of wanting to imitate Christ, who in the early New Testament fasted for 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. And again, this comes up in the story that we're going to be reading. Many people in the earliest forms of hungering and fasting as an art form were fasting to imitate Christ. coming back to some more reasons, and this is a huge part of why hungering happened in the 18 and 1900s, and it was for money. It was for greed. It was a lucrative thing. It was something new and different. Well, something new to many areas. Something obviously very different. It's not something that everybody would openly engage in, and so you could make a lot of money doing it. There was a cut, so each hunger artist would get a cut of the money from the admissions. They would also have agents who would help them set up their hungering, and the agents would also get some money. So here we are now at the end of the Prezi. But one thing I do want to really point out is this idea of disillusionment and where do you get your sense of satisfaction in life and in who you are. It's a theme that runs throughout the course of a hunger artist. You really have to be thinking about what do people physically hunger for and what do people emotionally hunger for, and how do those ideas kind of play together and interact throughout the entire story of a hunger artist. If you have any questions, please be sure to ask Mr. Wells or myself. Thank you.